Hey there, friend. Welcome back to another episode of Joy at Home. This episode is going to air, of course, on the podcast via audio and also on YouTube. So if you want to catch the video, we are going to be sharing and showing a lot of different books, a lot of different curriculum today. So you are very welcome to catch the video on YouTube, and I will do my very best to link everything up in the show notes as well. Okay, all that being said, super excited about today's episode because my guest is very extra special. You know her, you love her. She's been on the podcast a handful of times now. In fact, she joined me on the podcast just a few episodes back. I'm going to kick it over to her and let her introduce herself, my sister, Dori.
Hello, everybody. I'm Dori. Of course, I'm Katie's sister. And I am a stay-at-home mom of 4 little girls, and we homeschool. My kids' ages are 6, 4, 3, and 1.5. So we are on the beginning homeschool stages of things, but we've done homeschool preschool for several years. So yeah, I feel like we offer between Katie and I, we offer a wide variety of school age experience. So I am currently in my parents' back bedroom of their camper because, that's real life. Had to have somebody watch the kids while we do this. So if you're watching this on YouTube, my video is a little grainy, but here we are. It's real life. So we're going to wing it. If you hear screaming kids in the background, it's fine.
I love it, Dori. It is so real life. I think that people love that about the episodes that we get the chance to create together because Dori and I usually, when we join up for an episode, normally we both have a large iced coffee in hand and there's a gajillion kids running in the background. So I'm up in our homeschool room today and my kids are in and out as well, but that is absolutely real life and everybody relates and I'm sure appreciates that, honestly. So it is all good. You guys know me. I'm Katie. I've got 3 kids. This year, as we're headed into the upcoming homeschool year, I honestly have to think. We've been at this long enough now that I have to think what grade everybody's headed into. 5th grade, 8th grade, and sophomore year. So 10, 13, and 16 at this point.
Yeah.
So it's super fun because Dori and I together, between all the kids, we truly do. We have like all the way from preschool to high school. So lots of great experience. And we've got curriculum, recommendations
for the whole age group.
ages. So first today, we're going to be talking about, I titled this episode, Crack the Curriculum Code, how to pick materials that your family will love. So Dori and I are going to be sharing how we actually choose our curriculum. And then the best part, we're going to be sharing our curriculum stacks for this year. And in full transparency, I was telling Dori before we hit record that I kind of wished we would have done this every year so far. Because I think it's so fun to just look through the stacks. It would have been really fun to look back on what we had done in prior years. But we may have to make this an annual tradition moving forward, Dori.
Yeah, I think so. That'll be fun.
Yeah, it's good. Okay. All right. So without further ado, let's dive into how we actually choose curriculum. So sis, I'm going to let you go first. What comes to mind for you as you are picking curriculum for the upcoming school year?
Yeah, so this upcoming school year, Daisy will be in 1st grade. And so this is actually the first year that I'm doing all the subjects. So reading, math, history, science, Bible, language arts. And I will preface with I am located in Missouri. And so we have to count our hours. And of those hours, we have to have, I can't remember if it's 400 or 600, but we have to have hours of those core subjects. So those are our core subjects and we have to do all of them. So what I did, I have my notebook here. So this is my very first time picking subject curriculum for all of those subjects. So I made a list of my priorities, and then I made a list of different curriculums that I wanted to research. And I hate research. I absolutely hate it. Katie, on the other hand, I feel like she researches all the time. I am not. I want to binge research for like 4 hours and make my decision and call it good. So my priorities were I wanted open and go because I'm not really much of a preparer, honestly, if I'm just being honest. I need open and go. And then I wanted to, of course, it needed to be um, biblical sound. And I wanted to try to get something that I could do with my kids together at multiple age levels. And then also one of my other priorities was to see if I could do something that combined subjects. Like, for instance, if we're learning, it's like a unit study. Like if we're learning about insects, or that might not be a good example. What was oh, like ancient Egypt or something, and then we learned about it in reading, we learned about it in history, we learned about it in science or something like that. I was just kind of curious about that. So I wanted to kind of have that as one of my priorities as I was looking. Um, and then so I used Katie's curriculum guide as well as part of our homeschool I am a part of a homeschool co-op. And of course, you ask all the other moms, like, what curriculum do you use? What are you using? And so I was kind of using um, that as a baseline as well for what I wanted to look into. Um, there is a little bit of peer pressure when it comes to choosing your curriculum, but I didn't want to be influenced by what other people were doing, but I definitely wanted to research it just to kind of see. So, first I made a list of my priorities, and then I made a list of the curriculums that I wanted to look at. And I tried not to make a huge list, but my companies that I was looking at was All About Learning Press, My Father's World, Sonlight, Master Books, Gather Round, and The Good and the Beautiful. So, um, first I made my list, and then I went through every single website and I wrote like what all that they had to offer because I really didn't know. Some of these places have a whole package. Some of them are just a couple subjects. And so I kind of wanted to see like, okay, what do these companies even offer? And what I found out was My Father's World was a package. Like you could get every single subject and do the whole thing together. Sonlight was also a package. Um, and what I found was that as I did my research and as I asked some friends their opinions, was that they, even though it was a boxed curriculum, they ended up having to supplement
Mm.
specifically in reading and math. Um, Now, not everybody does that, if they're participating in these companies. But I knew for me personally, if I had purchased a box curriculum and if I had to supplement, I, that would be way too overwhelming for me with little kids. And also, like, if I just chose to, okay, I'm not going to do the reading and the math for this box curriculum, I'm going to choose something else, I would feel like I wasn't giving my children the whole package. Like I know specifically with My Father's World, like when you're learning about ancient Egypt and you're learning about Joseph, your language arts lesson talks about Joseph as well as your history lesson. And I would feel like, oh, they're missing part of their lesson because I am choosing to use The Good and the Beautiful for language arts instead of My Father's World. So anyways, I'm sorry. All that to say, for me personally, I did not want to go a box curriculum method because I felt like if I had to supplement at all, it I would feel guilty about that. That's just me. That's my personal opinion. If you do that, if the listeners do that, like it's totally fine. Anyways, so all that to say, I went through and then I just marked down like what these companies, if they fell into my priority checkbox. And so what I ended up with was I am going to do The Good and the Beautiful for language arts and math. and I am doing master books for history and science. I like that master books, you can do it all together, and that's what we're going to do. You can do it for multiple age groups. It is biblical sound. And then the good and the beautiful math and language arts, we are going to do one-on-one. But it's so engaging and so beautiful, and I just love it. Uh so yeah.
Oh my gosh,
That
Dori.
was a lot of information.
Well, okay. I love that you like that was like solid methodology right there. Like you gave a really wonderful step-by-step process by starting with your priorities and then kind of picking a handful of curriculum options or companies and kind of running them through that kind of priorities funnel. I love that. I over here, yes, I tend to research things to death. And I will spend like days and hours and nights and all hours of the days and nights researching things. But I will say this far into the homeschooling journey, I feel like, you have to do some of that preliminary research to
Yeah,
kind of see like what the core values are of the different companies and like what their
yeah,
homeschooling styles are to kind of get a handle on that. I feel like at this point I have a little bit better handle on that. So I love that you
of course.
started
Yeah,
that way. You started with your priorities and kind of figuring out their core values and kind of the way that they present the material. I think that is for anybody who's just starting, I think that is a solid method for picking curriculum. Dori referenced the curriculum guide. So I have a
yeah.
free curriculum guide. It's downloadable. You can find that free guide at teachme2homeschool.com. I'll be sure and link that up in the show notes. So it gives 10 different curriculum options. It's kind of just a great starting point. You can take a look at those different companies, do a little preliminary research there. So definitely go download that guide because I know Dori did utilize and mention that. Again,
Mhm.
that's teachme2homeschool.com. So another thing that you can do, excuse me, another thing you can do, and something that I tend to do these days is to really take into consideration the different styles of homeschooling. So
Yeah.
the last episode that I did, if you go back one episode to episode 197, I actually did a quick little rundown of the 6 main styles of homeschooling. And so if you kind of get a handle on what your style of homeschooling is, that can really help you as well as you're picking curriculum because as you go to do your research on a lot of these websites, the different curriculum companies actually say like, hey, like we're a traditional homeschooling style or a unit studies or
Mhm.
a Charlotte Mason. And then Dori referenced kind of picking and choosing a few different things. I know Dori is kind of a blend of homeschooling styles. Dori, what would you say like your main 1 or 2 or even 3 homeschooling styles are?
Yeah, so I think we're like a Charlotte Mason unschooling homeschool style. So um eclectic, I guess.
Yeah, like
But
overall.
we do school, yeah, we do school year round. I think our core is probably Charlotte Mason, but I'm also like super flexible, and we school year round, so we don't have a super rigid schedule. Also, my kids are super young. Um so I don't know.
Yeah,
But the
so we're
Charlotte Mason, yeah, really pushes nature and literature. So
Charlotte Mason
yeah.
homeschooling is one of my favorites. I love
Yeah.
nature. I love getting my kids out in nature. We are also eclectic homeschoolers, which means that we kind of like pick and choose from all the different, options out there. Eclectic homeschoolers typically will not order a full box of curriculum. Like they
Hmm.
typically will not go to one company and order the box. It can be a
Yeah.
really handy option for some people. It's just with eclectic homeschooling, you typically will pick and choose from some different companies like you see Dori doing. When we go through our stacks, you're going to see we're kind of all over the place.
All over.
We're all over the place. One thing I love about that is I love trying different things in different companies just to kind of see like what's out there and what
Hmm.
everybody offers. And like I feel like 10 years down the road, Dori, we're going to be really good at this.
I know.
Oh my gosh. Another thing that's super helpful and handy when you go to choose your curriculum is to go attend a homeschool convention. So
Hmm.
Dori and I
Yeah.
went this year together to the Great Homeschool Convention in Missouri, and then you're able to go walk the curriculum hall and actually get your hands on all kinds of material and flip through it, see it with your own eyes. And there's something about feeling it with your own hands. I don't know what it
Yeah.
is. Picking up the books and flipping through them is super helpful and handy. So, okay, I think those were some fantastic tips for how to choose curriculum. Now the really
Oh, hang on.
exciting. Oh, jump
One
in,
more
jump
thing I
in.
forgot to say. Sorry. Okay, so as part of my research, I forgot to mention this, but I went on YouTube and watched pro videos and con videos for I don't know if you did this too, but I wanted to see what people liked about the curriculum, but also what they didn't like, so that I could make my own decision on what I was okay with. For instance, like with master book science, they have a lot of projects, and the person who did a con video on that, she's like, I didn't like all the projects. For me personally, I love projects. So I
Mm.
was okay with that. And also, there was one video that I watched where this gal, she was all about master books. She loved master books, but then she got in a season of life where I think they were moving, and like one of her family members had cancer, and there was just a lot going on for her. And she said, in this season of life, I have to have a box curriculum because I just can't mentally handle picking and choosing. And so she ended up temporarily going to a box curriculum. I think she went to My Father's World because that was her survival mode. And so I just want to put a plug in here for, like, it's okay to change, you know. And even if you change to something else and go back, like, you have to do what fits your family and your season of life. And it's okay if you change curriculum. Like, just because you pick something at the very beginning and you end up switching it, like, you're not a failure. And that curriculum wasn't necessarily bad curriculum. It just didn't fit your family.
That's such a good tip. Dori, you're so encouraging and so real life. I love that about you.
Well, thanks.
Well, it's true. You are never tied to the first curriculum that you pick, or as Dori noted, depending upon your season of life, that may very well change. That's so interesting. Those videos, were there very many con videos available?
Um, there were some, yeah.
That's
I
so
don't know.
interesting because on my
I
YouTube channel,
specifically searched for con videos
you'd
because
have
I
to
wanted
search for
to,
it. On my
yeah.
channel, there are quite a few videos about curriculum that I love. I considered doing one video titled Curriculum That We Chose and Did Not Love. Because you
I
just don't,
mean,
that would
yeah.
be handy. That would be helpful.
I think that there's a respectful way to do that, you know, and the videos that I was watching were very respectful.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's good. I know on our
Like,
first day. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, um some of the con videos that I was watching was like, uh for certain curriculums, they have things that you do on certain days, like, you know, Monday is always our reading day for this subject, and then, you know, Friday is our writing day for this subject. And they just said, like, our kids hated Fridays, and, you know, and they didn't feel like they could change their schedule because they wanted to get through the curriculum and do it as it was outlined. And so, like, that was a con for them, but it may not be a con for someone else.
Yeah.
So
Feeling like you're
yeah.
tied down, like having to drudge through it. Yeah, that's no fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think too, like, it also depends on your personality as the teacher. Like, if you are a rule follower, you want, I don't know, you want to get a curriculum that you feel comfortable doing all of the rules as it's lined out. Like, I am a little bit of a hybrid. Like, yes, I'm a rule follower, but also I'm okay skipping lessons. Like,
Mm.
for instance, we're not quite finished with our math book, and I want to get finished by a certain deadline. And so, like, I've been skipping lessons, and I'm okay with that. Um, if it's, I don't know. She's getting the hang of it. So
I feel like it's
yeah.
important as a homeschool mom to be flexible because especially as the kids get older and the curriculum gets heavier, I have found that even with homeschool curriculum, some of it is a little bit unnecessarily heavy. Like I do
Yeah.
not feel that high school kids need to be doing. I mean, it depends on your state and your laws and are you tracking hours or days, but
Mhm.
I don't feel like high school kids need to be doing 45 minutes to an hour, 5 days a week of science and history. I just don't
Yeah.
think that's necessary at all.
Yeah. You should talk about what you did with your they were supposed to write things in a book, but you ended up having them just draw. You remember that?
Yes. Yes, I do. Yes. Okay. So that was a master books curriculum that I did absolutely love. And I do love and I talk about it all the time. So that was America's Story. We did
Yeah.
America's Story 1, 2, and 3 in a 1 year, which was pretty heavy. So if you're doing it with younger kids, you will only do one of those books in a year. I had all the ages and ranges. So we did America's Story 1, 2, and 3 in a year. And instead of doing all the worksheets and all the written papers with it, I actually had my kids' notebook through history. I ought
Yeah.
to actually go grab those really quick and show them because it was really engaging and fun for the kids. We got through all the material and they remembered it better than they
Yeah.
ever would have with all of these heavy worksheets and writing projects
Yeah.
and all these things. Give me one really, really quick second. Okay. I'll be right back.
Okay. I'll see if I can talk about something. um, let's see.
I'm already back.
Oh, good. You're already back. I
Sorry.
was drawing a blank on what to talk about.
I didn't mean to bail on you guys, but if you're watching this on YouTube, these are just, oh, they're too cute not to share. And I should have grabbed the America's Story books. Actually, there is a full video on my YouTube channel that shows the books and the kids' the notebooks as well. But so here is an example of one of the pages, one of the days. This was my youngest child, so he was 9 at the time, and we were going through that day's lesson. And then it was so funny to see how the kids interpreted what they heard. He always took the lesson very literally. Like this must have been Pilgrimage to Freedom. So this must have been like the angry King George here as they were
He's a king
journeying
with an angry face.
to America's freedom. And you see, the Mayflower. He's got a little boat with actual flowers popping out of it. So, but for him, like that, that really helped him to retain and take in and even memorize what he was learning. And then I'll show you, let's see. This was my oldest child, so she would have been 15 at the time. So here's her notebook, and you can see she
Oh,
did
so
lots of
beautiful.
notes, like very organized pictures. And I mean, it just
That's gorgeous.
instead of drudging through those, worksheets and papers and all this stuff every day, we were doing living books. Like we read through Johnny Tremain and watched the movie Johnny Tremain, and we were doing field trips and hands-on things. And then the kids were just doing this notebooking. This is my middle son. So he had an interesting way of doing it. He would draw his little pictures. He's very like matter of fact, get to the point.
Yeah.
So he'd draw his little picture, put his little circles around it. And then they would retell to me. So like Charlotte Mason style, they would narrate or retell what they had learned in that day's lesson based upon their pictures. So history is one of my
I
favorite.
love that so much.
Yeah,
That's such a keepsake. Like I would much rather keep a notebook of my children's drawings than keep all their worksheets. Like,
oh,
you know, circled letter A. That's great. I'm glad you know that. But like, it's such an awesome keepsake. I love that so much.
it is.
I want to
I'm
do
gonna
that.
keep them honestly probably till the day I die. They're precious. And my daughter, my oldest, told me that because halfway through the school year last year, we had been doing science together, and then I had her kind of break off and deep dive into
Mhm.
astronomy, and it was just like textbook and worksheets. And she thought she was going to love it because it was traditional. She had been in the public school system for a lot of years. She thought she was going to love it. And at the end of the year, she's like, Mom, I want to go back to doing it together. She's like, I just
Yeah.
don't. She's like, I learned so much
Yeah.
better doing it together in an interactive way, like through the notebooking, the narration, the hands-on, like unit studies type of
Yeah.
things than I do with just the very structured worksheets. So it's so
Yeah.
customizable and flexible. And Oh, I love homeschool so much and that you can help your kids learn in the way that they learn best. But
Yes, of
I have
course.
completely derailed, but that was super fun.
Sorry.
Talk about notebooking. Okay, let's dive
Okay.
into curriculum and stacks. And very first thing, I don't want to overwhelm anybody, but I want to show you guys just kind of how Dori and I actually organize. We plan out our years, we organize, we keep our records for attendance and grades and whatnot. I'm not going to go through this whole thing, but just to kind of give you a little idea, we each created a notebook. There's Dori. Oh, so pretty. Oh my gosh, I love your little logo that you came up with. And then we keep
Oh,
all of
thanks.
our records in here. Dori, do you want to kind of just show, because I know
Yep.
you have to record hours in your state. Do you want to just kind of like show that page in your book?
Yep. Yeah. Um, can you still hear me? I think my earbuds just dropped out.
Yes, I do still hear you.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. So yeah, I have to count hours. So the very first thing in my binder is a calendar, and I am just gonna highlight the days that we do school. That's more for just my own curiosity, because when I was logging this last year, I discovered we don't do school on Mondays very often at all. Like, I think Mondays are just like a chill day after the weekend. So that was just for my curiosity. But here's my daily planner. And I some people plan like this is probably this is probably you. Some people plan like at the beginning of the week, this is what we're gonna do in each subject. I am the opposite. I don't write anything at the beginning of the week, and instead I write, this is what we did, and this is how many minutes it was. So that's the style I am. So I've already started tracking because oh, you can't really see that.
You can kind
We
of
can
see,
track.
right, your little planner tracker there.
Yeah. So sorry, I'm blurry over here, but I've got all my subjects. I've got reading, language arts, math, social studies, science, and non-core. And then I just have to track how many minutes we did on each one, and then if we were home or away. And then so I'll just write down what we did, and then I've got an electronic spreadsheet on my computer that I'll just plug that into, and it counts all the minutes and hours for the whole year. Eventually, I will probably get an app. Homeschool Hall is the app that pretty much everybody in Missouri uses, but it's nationwide. Like the nice thing about it is that you can track multiple kids and multiple subjects. And it will like create a transcript for you at the end of high school. Anyways, yeah, it was created by a family in Missouri because in Missouri it's the only rule we have is that you have to count your hours, but so it's a simple rule, but it's also kind of a tedious rule.
Yeah, for sure. So in Iowa, we track days, and the way I do mine is on Fridays. I plan for the full week ahead, and then I do it all
Mhm.
digitally through a Google sheet, and then I just have those all printed out at the end of the year with the number of days, and then like what everybody
Yeah.
did each day. So, okay,
Yeah.
so that's fun. We just wanted to let you know how simple you can make it to track everything. Just one binder, track what you need to track, put it in there year after year, good to go, right?
Yep. Yep. And the nice thing about we'll get into this too, but so since I do science and social studies with master books, I actually have my first whole unit of science and social studies in this binder.
Oh,
So when
wow.
we do our together time, I just pull out this binder, and it has like this is all I have to use every day because it has the loose leaf pages in here for those subjects.
Binders are so handy. We have a stack of binders, like just old binders, and the kids will pull them out and use them for all kinds of different things.
Yeah.
I do
Same.
that with the All About Reading program. I've got the sheets in there, and then I just have like
Hmm.
I prep it ahead of time, and everything's handy right there. Okay, are you
Yeah.
ready to jump into our stack, sis?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Go for it.
so
You go first. I
all
feel like
right.
I've been talking a lot.
Okay, perfect. So first thing I want to talk about is I don't know what the actual term for it is. I'm just going to call them the together subjects or like morning
Yes.
time. We do these things first thing in the morning. Some people don't start their homeschool day first thing in the morning. Sometimes it's in the afternoon. But so these are
Hmm.
the together subjects that we do and kind of how we start our day. You want me to go first or do you want to go first?
You go first. I've been
Okay.
talking a lot.
Okay, I'll go first. So we start our mornings with something called World Watch, and it is a 10-minute world news online. It's streamed, it's delivered from a biblical worldview. So I got to just put a plug in for them
I love that.
because it's like CNN 10, only it's biblically sound. If you know
I
what I mean.
love that so much.
And it is a great way to just kind of like start our morning and gives us something to talk about and gives the kids a little glimpse of what's going on in the world with some truth behind it. And then for Bible right now, what we're doing right now is all three of my kids and we all have a CSB Bible, so the Christian Standard Bible, and we are actually listening through the Bible cover to cover. It is going to take us a couple years to get
That's
through
so
it.
fun.
But that's what we're doing for Bible right now. I hope, Dori, that you're going to talk about the Bible storybook. Are you going to talk about that one?
I have it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So hopefully you plug that one because I love that book for younger
I
kids.
have it here.
Yeah, for a Bible curriculum. Actually, you want to just jump in and show that really quick since we're
Yeah.
talking about it?
Okay. So I actually have two. I'm gonna start with this one first because this one is called the Jesus Storybook Bible. And this one I feel like is for like little kids, like toddlers. Um it's a little bit shorter stories, but it looks like a children's book. And then this one, is this the one you're talking about?
Yes, I
Yeah.
love that.
This is the biggest story Bible storybook. I know those sound like really close together, but if you're watching on YouTube, they do look different. This one is like, oh, it's so beautiful.
It
It's
is
so
so beautiful. You have to
beautifully,
show us some pictures.
I will. It's so beautifully illustrated. So like it's just like a lot of color and very engaging. So I have both of these because we've gone through the younger storybook Bible twice now. But my kids are still really little. So and then this one, the one for younger kids, it is always, so it tells you the Bible story and then it always points back to Christ. And it's like, this is the Bible, this is a story in the Bible, but every single story in the Bible points you back to Christ. And it's like the coming of Jesus. And then at the very end, it's like Jesus came for you. And I love that. And then this one is more just like, it's like scripture. It's like telling the Bible story in a very engaging way. So
And I feel
yeah.
like that one like journeys through the Bible kind of cover to cover.
Yeah.
The storybook Bible. I'll try to link that one
Yeah.
up in the show notes. That one I feel like is engaging for all ages and stages, from everybody from young to high school, because the
I
pictures,
think so too.
yeah, it's just these vibrant kind of jewel toned, like abstract art pictures. And the kids
Yeah.
love looking through that book. And then here at my house, the kid, because we just sometimes we flip through and we read through different stories in that book. And the kids love to take turns actually reading out loud the stories in that book. Look at those gorgeous
Yeah.
pictures. Yeah, that is like, I recommend that one to everyone if you're looking for just some type of a Bible curriculum to dig into as a family. Okay,
Yeah, for sure.
let's move into history because we do history and science together over here. So last year we did America's Story from Master Books, which we loved. This year we're trying something new and I am very excited about it. We're going to be studying world history, world geography, and world literature. So we are going to be using Not Grass History from Adam to Us.
Oh.
So here's what this one looks like. And one thing I am so excited about this program is I've been flipping through the material is that they actually incorporate literature and art and music. So this book that comes with it, Our Creative World, it says stories, poems, documents, art, and architecture from world history. So it's like the best of everything.
So cool.
Yeah, I really wanted to be intentional about incorporating more art and music this year. And as I was flipping through this material from Not Grass History, I'm realizing like it's all included in this book.
Yay.
It also comes with a map book and a timeline. So I thought we were going to be having to do something separate for world geography. And it turns out it's all included, all the map work, all the timeline. And then I did grab this, I think at a homeschool convention. It's just a fun little puzzle world map. There's a
That looks
company
so fun.
called, yeah, there's a company called Mapology, and they do the United States map that we used last year. And then they do this world map. So that's what our history together is looking like for this year. And then, like I said, we do science together as well. I'll share about that and then I'll kick it over to Dori. For science this year, we're going to be studying life science slash biology. I don't have anything to show you for that because we're trying something new and it's not in yet. We are going to be utilizing BJU life science with their online videos as well as their textbooks. They do have worksheets included and then labs that go with that. That's all on the way to me right now. But then we also are going to be talking a little bit gently about anatomy. My oldest daughter, who's in high school, is going to break off and really study anatomy more in depth. So we've got the squishy body here that I found at a homeschool convention.
I'm so glad that you showed that. I forgot mine, but we're doing that too.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure Dory's girls have this and that they've already dug into it, but it looks really
They
fun.
have.
Did they
were
love
so
it?
excited.
Did they enjoy it?
They absolutely loved it.
They love
Yes.
playing with it. So that's fun. And then Chloe, again, headed into high school. We've got Wonders of the Human Body. This is from Master Books, and it is a very biblical approach to just anatomy, reproduction. I love, you can see on the back the baby there and just how they teach that in a biblical way. And then it comes with, the worksheets and all that traditional stuff that Master Books comes with. I've got a few more things to show. I'll show them a little bit later in relation to teaching and talking to your kids in a biblical way about health and anatomy and reproduction and all those things that are like awkward conversations that we need to have with our kids. So I'll show those in a minute when we get to the individualized stacks. Dori, okay, I'm going to kick it back over to you to talk about the things you guys are doing together, history, science, and whatever that looks like.
Okay. So first, I knew that I wanted to, before I even started looking into the curriculum, I knew for like social studies, history kind of stuff, I wanted to talk to my kids about like our family, our community, and kind of build onto that. And like my jaw literally dropped when I was looking at the Master Books curriculum because this is what I found. It's called My Story. And we're going to actually, even though Daisy's going into first grade, we're going to start with the kindergarten level because it's actually kind of what I wanted to do this year anyways. But so it's exactly that. It starts with your family and then it builds into your community. And then it even goes into like the culture and the world and like where things are located. And we're going to, taste different types of food and stuff like that. And it goes into vocabulary and all those neat things. So I was really, really excited.
I wish I would have known about
ahead.
that our first year of homeschool because we studied our local community and I built all the curriculum from scratch.
I know. But what I'm excited about is it comes with this like little packet and it's called My Book Time. And it's just they get to create this little book. Now this is worksheets, but it's creating a little book about themselves and their community. And I'm actually going to go to our local library and make 3 copies of this so I can have a copy for all. So each of my kids can walk away with one, even though, they're at different age levels. I think that'll still be fun. And then for science, we're doing Master Books again, and we're doing life for beginners, and we're going over plants, the human body, and animals.
That's like kind of the younger version of what we're studying this year. So I'm excited to hear how that goes for you guys.
Yeah. And so again, what I love about Master Books is everything comes in one book. This is the student book, this is the teacher book, like it's all together. It's open and go, but I already actually tore it all apart. And because I'm going to put 1 unit at a time into my binder. So all I have to do is just grab out my binder. Because we're going to do social studies on Tuesday, Thursday, and then science on Wednesday, Friday. So I'll just grab the book and it's all already there. And also like Master Books is so affordable. I really appreciate that about them. Even though I'm probably going to buy a new book every year, they're so reasonably priced. I think each book is like $38. So, yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. They are, if someone is just like asking me like what's your top pick, I always say Master Books. Like
Yeah.
start with Master Books, go check them out and just see. And I know it's not for everybody, um but it is for a lot of people. A lot of people love it.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of moms are really comfortable teaching it because it is some of that traditional style workbooks.
Yeah.
I was just thinking they have a cursive workbook. It's called,
Oh,
I have it somewhere around here. I think it's called Catch On to Cursive, and it's like a fishing
nice.
theme. So the kids are
Oh,
like,
that's
which
fun.
makes sense because as they're doing their cursive, it's like a fishing line, right? Below the water level, and you
Oh,
cast your
that's
pole.
cool.
And they're just like engaging and easy to use. So
Yeah.
master books, I feel like you can't go wrong there.
I know. I feel like growing up in public school, all the textbooks we had were like black and white and worksheets, or even like yeah, like you probably remember like the projector screen when they would have a transparent piece of paper and they would like throw it up on the projector on the wall and you'd go over it together. Like no color, very boring. Like all of this stuff is
Uh,
very engaging. And there's
yes.
things that you can do. Like our very first science lesson is about learning like the difference between non-living and living things. And like the first thing we're gonna do is compare a gummy worm to a real worm.
Oh, that's
So
so
I think that'll be
cool.
so much fun.
Oh my gosh, your girls. Okay, because I know your girls and I know they're all over like picking up the creepy crawlies.
I know.
They're gonna be all over that. That is so
I
fun.
know. I'm excited.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Is there anything else in your together stack?
Yeah, there is actually. The only other thing, well, we do Bible together and then science and social studies, but I also wanted to show this. This is my morning menu. This is super, super great for little kids. And I don't know if you guys use it anymore either, but this is kind of like all the things that I want us to memorize. I think I'm gonna rename it like my memorizing menu or something. But it has our memory verse in it. And then it has like the alphabet in it too, and like numbers. This is more for my little kids and shapes and stuff. And then on the back, I'm gonna cover this. It has my phone number so they can practice my phone number because I want them to know that. But this is a dry erase. This is just like a traditional menu from like a restaurant that you can put pages into. And then I give them like dry erase markers. And so they work on that while I read our Bible story. Usually what we do is I'll feed them breakfast. And then they get this menu. We kind of go over it, like sing the alphabet together, and then we'll do our memory verse, and then I'll read the Bible story. And that's kind of like our morning time. And then I'll break off and do whatever subject we're working on that day. So,
I forgot about the morning menu. Oh my gosh. I love the morning menu. We did that our
yeah,
first year. I should pull those back out and use those again. We created those our first year and they are a fun way. Like you can just go on Amazon and literally
yeah,
get restaurant menus. They're a
that's what
fun
these
way.
are. Yeah,
Yeah, they're a fun way to keep everybody on track and just the things that you really want them to tuck in their heart, whether it's Bible verse or, other
yeah,
memory work or map work, or a lot of people use them for like poetry and art study or
yeah,
unit
yeah,
studies. It's fun for everybody to have their menu out and then you're going through it as a family, just gathered around the table. Okay, that inspired
yeah,
me. I might have to incorporate that somehow this year.
yeah.
I love
Well,
the
and
morning menu.
I do, and it's helpful for me too, to because like we are part of a family quest program at our church, and we get these little cards that have our memory verses on them. And so I'm just gonna like tuck each of those in here. And then as we're going through our memory verse, like the old ones will already be there. And so we can kind of go over those again. It'll be a good way to like go over what we're memorizing now, but also review what we've memorized before.
Yeah, I love that.
So
That is, yeah, that's great for review. It's a good way to do it. You can also do it with binders. You can just as easily
yeah.
do it with
Oh yeah,
binders.
of course.
I mean, menus are fun, and especially if your kids are little, the dry erase is really handy.
Yes. It gives them something to do with their hands while you're reading or something like that. I put pictures of my kid's face on each one of them, and they end up like drawing hats on themselves and stuff like that, and they love that.
Oh my gosh, that's super
So
fun.
it
That's
just
super
gives them
fun.
something to do.
I love that. Let's
But
jump
anyways,
into their just individualized stacks. Would you like to
okay,
start with some of your younger
sure.
ones and just kind of share some of the things that
Okay,
the girls will be working
we're
on?
going to youngest to oldest.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's do that. Let's do that. Youngest to oldest.
So, this is for Diana. So we do one-on-one time, during in the afternoon during breast time. It's just a little bit easier to do it that way. But so for Diana, she's 3, and I just got this off of Amazon. It's just like a preschool dry erase book, but it has like Velcro things that she can like take off and on and like put where they're supposed to go. It goes over like numbers and stuff like that. That's just super easy off of Amazon. Um, and then for Dixie, I, I she's 4. I did get the preschool course book for from The Good and the Beautiful. I love this so much. But it goes through, it's so pretty and it's so engaging. And it goes through all the letters and the sounds, and it has activities that like you can cut out, and like there's cut and gluing and drawing and games. So that one comes with this little uh folder activities. So this is like a binder of games that comes with the Good and the Beautiful preschool book. And it's so interactive. And what I love about it is I don't have to prepare anything. It's all here. um so that's for my youngest. Sorry, my earbuds keep falling out. Hopefully this isn't making a ton of noise. I apologize.
No, you're good.
Um, and I will stop and say, so I have heard mixed opinions about The Good and the Beautiful. Um, the curriculum itself is non-denominational Christian. The founder is Mormon, but from what I can tell, she does not push any Mormon agenda in the curriculum. And for me personally, I plan to, at least while my kids are young, be involved when they go through these workbooks, so I can kind of be there to make sure like everything is sound. And also like this curriculum is not their Bible study. Like we do a Bible study with our Bible, and like that is where we are getting our Bible study and reading in. So I don't rely on this curriculum to do our Bible study. So sorry, that was a little off topic, but
No, I actually really respect that you brought that up, sis. The Good and the
yeah.
Beautiful. I know a lot of people that use it and love it. I know a lot of people
Hmm.
that feel like it's controversial. I
Yeah.
we have not used it. I have looked at your copies of it, and I will say
Yeah.
it is very beautiful. It is very like
Yeah.
aesthetically pleasing. That being said, we have not used it, and I have not
Right.
shared a lot about it yet on the podcast before, but I
Yeah.
appreciate and respect that you
Yeah.
just shared that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do want to, like, I did do oh my goodness, I can't say that. Due diligence, sorry, in doing the research. So yeah. I just lost my train of thought.
I
But
think a lot of well, I think a lot of it
yeah.
too is like personal conviction. And I think
Yes. Oh
that
yeah.
it's worth setting with the Lord and asking him, is this a fit for my family or not?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And most of what The Good and the Beautiful is targeted towards is the like lower elementary and elementary age kids too. So I don't know that there would have been anything that you guys would have used anyways, since you started more in like the middle school, high school time. So anyways,
Right.
but yeah, it's very, very pretty. And they also have apps that go along with the curriculum, which I think is it's such like I think they do such a great job of helping the parent teach in a very is it kinesthetic, which is like all the different ways of learning. Like there's auditory, there's visual, there's hands-on.
Yeah.
Um And like I feel like The Good and the Beautiful tries to do all of those things. Like there's cutting, like I said, there's cutting, gluing, writing, coloring. There's an app where you listen to songs, and there's poetry and like videos that go along with the poem and stuff like that. So anyways, this we use The Good and the Beautiful for language arts as well. This is a kindergarten level. So I started with all about reading last year with Daisy, but she caught on to it super, super quick, and we finished like by December. And I was like, well, what do we do now? She loved it, and it was so great. But I wanted to introduce her to some language arts as well, because I needed to get her into like grammar and nouns, consonants, punctuation, and all of that stuff. So we're only halfway through this book. But I really love it. Again, it's pretty. It's got this book, and like, see, this is something that you cut out, and then yeah. Anyways, uh the language arts comes with booster cards. So like this is just extra material, like extra reading. Hang on, let me get to one so I can show you. So like this sentence, it's like you can't really see that. You start with like a word, and then the next line is 2 words, and then the next line is 3 words, and like you're building on this to the sentence. And then of course she has like these little books that she can read. Like she can literally read all of these books, and that's so fun for a little kid to be able to actually read a book and sound out the letters. And then where's my math? Do you want me to go ahead and talk about math?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. 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 And then I think, yeah. Okay. So this is math. This is again, The Good and the Beautiful. This is our math book. Again, super pretty, super engaging, super fun. What I love about the math specifically is it comes with this super fun box of just manipulatives that they get to use. So like on the front of this math book, I have the level 1. She has this clock that she can move around on the front of this math book. And I haven't opened these yet, but she has like these little shapes that we get to make things with. And then she's got coins. We'll go over, like quarters, pennies, dimes, nickels, all those dice, and like these little ships, and like little clocks. So clearly we're going to be learning how to tell time a little bit more in depth this year. But it's super fun. That's one of my favorite things about them is they have manipulatives, and they really get your hands on for different things. Okay, I have one more thing to show, and then I'll hand it over to you. My last thing is not actually like curriculum, but it's a book, and it's called Honey for a Child's Heart. And this this book has been recommended by a lot of Charlotte Mason enthusiasts. But my favorite thing about this book is that it has a reading list in the back of it based on children's ages, and then also like what they might be interested in. So it has picture books and like chapter books and different things. And so I have gone through and like highlighted like what we have read and what I want to read. And so I've kind of been using this book as our reading checklist. So that like right now we're going through Black Beauty, a chapter book. And my kids are still pretty little, but they love it. And so I love that it just kind of gives me a list of books to get from the library. So this is our reading list.
I love that. Okay, I actually just ordered that book.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
Oh, so fun.
I'm really excited to look through it, and I love that you're loving it. I didn't realize that you were using that. So, or I don't know, maybe
Oh,
you told me about it, but anyway, I just ordered it, and so I'm excited. That's
well,
fun.
that's funny.
That's so fun. Well, okay, so did you get to share everything from your girl stacks then?
I did.
Okay.
Yes, I shared everything that I wanted to share.
Perfect.
So
That is so fun. I do love the little math manipulatives because I think that especially
yeah,
with the younger kids, anything that they can actually get their hands on and touch is huge. There's a
yeah.
program out there. I've never used it, but it's called Math UC. And
Oh,
I believe they have little blocks that they stack and
oh,
whatnot.
that's
And I just
fun.
see where with the younger ones that could be really super
Yeah.
helpful. We'll jump into my stacks over here. My kids again are a little bit older. I will say before I share their things that for math is the one and only program that we actually utilize online curriculum. And
Hmm.
all three of my kids use a program called Teaching Textbooks, which we love.
Yeah.
So they can do it on a computer or an iPad. My kids do it on the iPad with an Apple Pencil, but they can do it on a
That's fun.
computer with a little scratch paper. And it's a great program. They've kind of like gamified the math process. So it feels a little bit like a game, but don't let that fool you because they are, I mean, all three of my kids can do higher level math than me. That's why we're
Oh, I love
utilizing
it.
an
Yeah.
online program because it's just math is not my wheelhouse. So, I mean, even my kiddo going into fifth grade, which he's doing math a level higher, but I mean, the things that he does, like I have to have their dad help them if they need help because math is just
Yeah.
like and it goes to show too, we don't all have to be super good at everything. You can bring in and
Hmm.
utilize outside resources. So, a plug for the program called Teaching Textbooks. They start at third grade level math and they go all the way through high school. So, my oldest this year will be doing algebra 2. She did geometry last year. My middle child will be doing algebra 1 this year, and then sixth
I
grade
love that.
math for my youngest. So that's what we're doing for math. Um, we're going to be finishing up the All About Reading curriculum this
Mm.
year. You guys know you've heard me gush about All About Reading. I love this program. I've got several videos on my YouTube channel about this program. Theoretically, we totally could have finished it last year, but I purposefully strung it out so that we could utilize
Hmm.
the last piece of it this year because I feel like it allows me to spend really intentional time with my youngest child.
Yeah.
Precious time that I wish I had been able to spend with my oldest two, but they were in public school, as they were learning these things. So anyhow, All About Reading is from a company called All About Learning Press. It is open and go. It's so easy to use. I absolutely love it. My youngest child has become just an absolute reading phenomenon. And I attribute that largely to this program. It has really fun open and go activities for the kids to do. And then it comes with these little reader books. Well, now as he's in the oldest level, it's more like almost like chapter books.
Mm,
But
yeah.
just a wonderful program. As Dori mentioned, though, with All About Reading, it is strictly a reading program. So you do want
Hmm.
to incorporate something else for language arts. So I love this curriculum. It is called Language Lessons for a Living Education. It is by Master Books. This is the fifth grade level book that my fifth grader will be utilizing, but it goes through all the grammar things that you could possibly want to know, and it teaches them in an easy way. Our first
Hmm.
day of our first year of homeschool, we had a language arts curriculum and we cracked it open and it was like circle all the prepositions. And at that time, I was like,
What is a
what the heck?
preposition?
What the heck is a preposition? I jumping from public school into homeschool, like it had been years since I had covered any of that. So needless to say, we put that one on the shelf and found something that was just a much better approach. And
Yeah.
that was this language lessons for a living education. Just a quick shout out to this book. I know I already talked about math, but I wanted to share this book that I just found on Amazon. It's called The Times Machine by Danica McKellar. And it teaches all these fun rhythms and rhymes. If your child is in
Mm,
an
that's
age
fun.
where you're getting ready to learn multiplication and or division. I just wanted to plug this book because we found it really helpful. We worked on that last year for math. And then my youngest, after we finished his fifth grade year, I did this program with all of my kids. It is called Launch into the Teen Years by Focus on the Family.
Mm.
And essentially, this is the talk. It talks about puberty and health and reproduction and all those things from an absolutely solid biblical
Mm.
viewpoint. So I wanted to plug that one. We'll be going through that next summer with him while
Is that
we're
a
on.
book or a
So it's
or a
actually,
video?
it's videos. So because I purchased this several years back for my oldest, it was DVD videos at the time. I think if
Hmm.
you purchase it now, it's probably just streamed. So if you go to
Okay, cool.
focusonthefamily.com, launch into the teen years, I'm assuming that you just stream videos online now.
Mm, very cool.
But
That's
it's
helpful.
like I think it's like 6 videos or something like that, and it just teaches and talks about in such a gentle yet biblical, truthful way all the things that your kids
Mhm.
need to know, and it kind of like opens the doors for good conversation and relationship
Yeah.
building between parent and child that's getting ready to kind of enter those years. And then I wanted to plug this book. It's called Guy Stuff, the Body Book for Boys.
Mm.
So my middle schooler
That's
this
fun.
year, this just kind of like goes a little more in depth about like changes that are coming in the body. Like you need to use deodorant and how to deal with acne and all that kind of stuff. And I read through the whole book before having him read through it. I had read reviews and everything else, and I feel like I don't think it's necessarily considered a Christian book,
Mhm.
but I found nothing in it that no red flags of any sort. So it talks about everything from nutrition to muscles and changes that are happening in the body and shaving and like all that kind of stuff. So I just wanted to plug that one as a great resource. Okay, and
That's
then
good.
moving on to my middle schooler's stack, we talked about math, of course, teaching textbooks. And then I have to plug another one of my favorite curriculum companies of all time, and that is IEW, or the Institute for Excellence in Writing, founded by the one and only Mr. Andrew Pudewa, who you guys know I adore. He was on the
Yes.
podcast back in episode 195, and he is just a phenomenon. He is a gift to the homeschooling world, and all the moms said amen.
Yes, he is. I love hearing him talk.
He's so great. But they have for middle schoolers and high schoolers wonderful writing and grammar curriculum. They also offer some spelling and poetry and other things, but their program called Structure and Style for Students
Hmm.
is what I love for middle school and high school writing. I will link it up in the show notes, but every single week the child is writing a paper. However, that does sound like a lot, right? But it's a very
Mm.
simplified and structured process that makes it very easy for the child to accomplish. They give just fantastic source text for the kids to read and base their paper up on. So I just cannot say enough good things about that program. And then Fix It Grammar is their grammar book that goes along with it. It's a solid book for the kids working through grammar. They go through and they find the mistakes and they're learning all kinds of different things
That
about
says,
grammar as they go through the book.
why does
Is
it
it
say Robin
backwards?
Hood? No, why does
Yeah.
it say
Okay.
Robin Hood?
Oh, yeah. So that's a good question. Each of the Fix It Grammar books, it contains a story. So each week, like through the whole year, they're going through the story of Robin Hood. So each week, the sentences that they're kind of like working
Oh,
on
that's
and
so fun.
learning grammar about go through the full story of Robin Hood. Yeah, I never thought to share that, but that is fun. Um, Chloe last year, I think it was like Mowgli and Shere Khan. Um, there's all kinds of different ones, but yeah, this one is Robin Hood. So that's a
That's so
fun.
fun.
Yeah. And then, so my middle schooler, I like them to get to do some kind of something that's their own, some kind of elective. This year, Chase is going to be studying careers and trades and
Mm.
entrepreneurship through Gather Round. So that curriculum is supposed to show up today, so I can't show it, but I just wanted to show here's a piece of curriculum that we used
Mm.
last year from Gather Round when he studied national parks. And I just wanted to show this because Gather Round is such a beautiful,
Yeah.
wonderful, fun curriculum. It's very in depth. It is a unit study. So I mean, theoretically, you could use their unit studies and have all your subjects covered, but I like to just get the main book, skip the workbook, skip the worksheets, just get the main book and let the kids read through it.
Hmm.
That's what we're going to do with careers and trades and entrepreneurship from Gather Round Company. And then we move into high school. Chloe, again, teaching textbooks for math. IEW just came out with a brand new program that is on its way to me, and it is called University Ready Writing. And so Chloe's going to be a
Wow.
sophomore. She's going to start taking college classes her junior and senior year. So the university ready writing is going to really prepare her for writing college papers. So they do a lot about note taking and MLA formatting as you're doing
Mm,
research papers and all that kind of stuff. So she'll be working her way through that this year. And then she's going to break off and do some poetry study. I found this book. It's called The Art of Poetry. So this is something new she's going to be studying through this year.
mm.
Found this book actually on Amazon. It's written by Christine Perrin. Perrin. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right. But it's going to go through just a lot of wonderful classic poetry, and then she gets to do some different things with it. Memorizing poetry
That's
is a
cool.
big thing. Andrew Pudewa has full talks
Yeah.
on memorization and poetry in the brain and how that unlocks pathways, but she's going to be working with that. And then she'll be doing world literature this year. Actually, all three of my kids will be doing world literature this year. So just a couple of fun books. I've got Anne of Green Gables.
Oh, that's so pretty.
Yeah, isn't it? Isn't
That's
that fun?
cute.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then Iliad and Odyssey. These are classic starts versions. So I'll probably have my middle schooler / elementary reading through these. And then
Mm,
Chloe will be reading through the full, she's excited to read through the full book. So she's all into that genre. But yeah, I think that completes our stacks. I know I feel like we threw a lot at everyone, but a lot of
yeah.
good options and things to look at. And I love that it's all the ages and stages. So you've got
Yeah,
everything
for
from
sure.
your little bitties all the way up through high school. And it's just so fun that you get to customize and pick and choose.
Yeah. Do you want to talk? I know it's getting kind of long, but can I talk? You want to talk about organization real quick? Like what we
Yeah.
do with all of these books?
Yes. Yes.
So, I have, let's see, let me grab it. Okay, so I have these narrow multi-purpose bins that I got from Walmart. They are tall, thin, clear plastic bins. And then I just put like a sticky note on it and I taped it. And this one says Daisy one-on-one. And I've got 3 of them right now. Of course, I'll have one for each of my kids, but um so then I'll just grab, like, I have one for together, like our morning time, one for Daisy, and then Dixie and Diana don't have enough stuff for them to take a whole bin by themselves. So I have theirs together. But like, so in the morning, we don't have a room. So we just do our school at the kitchen table, but I have a closet there right off of our kitchen. And so I just grab the bin and so I have all the books that I need right there. And then, when we clean up, everything goes back in the bin and I just put it away. It's super easy to store. And I just grab one at a time, depending on what I'm working with or who I'm working with and what we need to do.
Yeah, I love that. I would echo that. I like that your bins are tall so that they don't fall over. So
Yeah.
I'll kind of pan here.
Yeah.
You can kind of see part of one of our bookshelves, but I also do kind of the bin method. So this is like reading things and
Yeah.
I don't know, map work or something over there. Oh, and then up on top, you got to have your little jars of treats and rewards.
Yes.
You can
Reward
kind of see,
jars. I love it.
yeah, but you can kind of like see like
Motivational.
do what?
Motivational jars.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, here is another little hack. Gold star stickers. They don't cost hardly anything and they mean absolutely nothing, but my kids get so fired up about who can earn the most gold star stickers.
I love that.
Well, that's another thing.
Competition.
But yes, the bins are wonderful. And whether you have, no matter what your space looks like, most families do
Mhm.
homeschool around the kitchen table. We ended up with a bonus room that we didn't know what we were going to use it for. And then we ended up homeschooling. So
I
that's
love
why
that.
we like have a full room and space. But around the kitchen table is the way most families do it. The one thing, no matter how or where you're homeschooling, one thing I want to encourage is that you have some shelving. Like I feel like that's
Yes.
a
100%.
table and shelf / storage space is going to be very, very important. So we do
Yeah.
utilize the bins and then all of the old curriculum that is obviously accumulating at this point. We have a huge bookshelf and then things are put away and labeled according to subject. If you get on my
I love
YouTube
that.
channel, you can take a tour of our homeschool space and actually see that shelf. It's kind of fun just to see the different ways that homeschool
Yeah.
moms organize. So okay, well, I think we're ready to wrap it up today. Dori, this has been so fun. You know, I always love when you come on the show. Thank you for joining us. It was a joy to have you here today.
Oh, it was my pleasure. I enjoy it. I love it.
You're the best, sis. You guys know Dori was a absolutely huge foundational part of our homeschool journey. So she'll never know how much she means to me and how it's changed the course of our family. So I love bringing her on the show and
Oh,
love that she shares her joy and her wisdom with all of you. Okay, with that, we're going to wrap it up today. Be sure and head over to teachme2homeschool.com and download your free curriculum guide. You can reach out to Dori and I on social media. We would love to connect with you. We
yep.
would love to chat homeschooling. We're always
Yes, of
up for
course.
that. All right, guys,
Bye.
we're gonna go ahead and sign off with joy. We'll see you next time.
Bye.